Welcome back, everybody, to Fresh Meat and Prison Streets. Um, it's been a little bit since we've been here, and it has come to my attention, rather frustratingly, that the most recent session 14, from this one, didn't export properly to the VOD channel. So, unfortunately, because I took a 2-week break, that means that the 15 days were up. And so we lost that one. Which, yeah, heartbreaking. And no one is more mad about it than I am. But I'm gonna put a little recap in this description to session 13 that will summarize what happened in that session, because luckily it wasn't one where like a ton of plot stuff happened. It was a little more of a relaxed episode, so that's good. But unfortunately, Crows and Luna, who's here, we lost one of yours too. Luckily, it was another one in which not a ton happened. It'll be pretty easy to summarize, because the only major thing happened was the start of that the appetizer fight there, which, again, heartbreaking, and I'm furious about it, but nothing I can really do about it now. Just something to double check next time if I ever take another break. So again, Crows, if you have anything that you explicitly want put into that summary, just message me on Discord. Same for the brass hand, because I'm going to do my own little description of it, but I might miss something that you thought was more important than I did. So feel free to let me know. So luckily they didn't miss any of the ball stuff, which is good, because that would have made me even more mad if they missed that. All right, so I'm gonna do a bit of a longer summary of the last session, just so that it's at the start of this episode as well. But basically, last time the party had arrived in Lucens, the canal city in along the coast of southern Carcassonne. And they'd done a little bit of exploring, and then in the session previous to this, they fully walked around and got their bearings. They explored the noble district. They found out that there's a library and some sort of church that they didn't enter. They looked around the noble district a bit and found Venetia's manor. They did a full circle of it, I believe, looking around at the manor's grounds. They also visited a bunch of the shops within the merchantry district, where they found everything from the general store, where I think they bought some backpacks or something like that, to a smithy, who had a little discussion with Fox about weaponry, and Ender bought some armor. Then they also visited a potion shop, Rosita's Remedies, where they met Rosita, who owned the shop. I'm not sure. I don't think you guys bought anything from her, because I don't have anything written down.
Yeah, I bought a.
But you bought the mortar and pestle, right?
I bought a
kit.
herbalism kit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So you have that in your inventory, and then you met Poppy, who said that she was a member of the vigil of Brava, and they talked to her a little bit, with differing motivations. They also visited the a rather weird antique store called Oswaldo's Oddities, where they found an old gnome selling trinkets and weird baubles that all had their own sort of strange effect. They didn't decide to purchase anything from him quite yet, but they decided that maybe they'd revisit him later. But Perry left her Duna coin with him to inspect overnight, as he seemed relatively trustworthy. And he, as an expert in oddities and weird things, might have some sort of information they could glean from it. So that's where that is currently. Then they decided to visit the La Sala Mielato, which is the more upscale tavern in the residential district. They had a meal there and something to drink. Proud talked to a woman who said that she was a relic hunter who had actually worked with Oswaldo in the past, and was someone who would bring him trinkets to sell in his store. And Fox listened in on a conversation that was happening between two people who looked like they were maybe trying to keep it a little hush hush, and discovered that they had uniforms for the wait staff for the masquerade ball coming up. And then the party attempted to follow them upstairs a little later and kind of strong arm their way into getting them to give it to them, but the attempt was unsuccessful, and they left empty-handed. On their way back, they decided to head towards the shady side, where the much less upscale inn is, the Wanton Whisper. But as they did, they passed by the old, they were told it was the old Cornell Manor, which appeared as though it was this abandoned, sort of falling apart, decrepit old house in the shady side of town with high iron gates around it. I believe Fox tried to scale it unsuccessfully, and then they attempted to manipulate the lock in some way, and as soon as they touched it, it let out this screech that they decided to run away from. And then they headed back to the Wanton Whisper, which is where they are right now, which is a rundown little inn in the shady side of town, which was much cheaper to stay the night at than La Sala Miolata. There they saw some sketchy looking dudes who they were told by the bartender were debt collectors who were sitting in the corner drinking. They talked a little bit with the bartender, who I think told them about the Cornell Manor. I think that was who talked about that. And then they head upstairs to go to sleep. They bought 2 rooms and dragged one of the beds into the other room so that there was 3. And then they went off to sleep, and I think the last thing that happened was Ender heard some noises in the middle of the night coming from across the wall that he's right next to. I believe that is everything that happened. You guys can let me know if there's something that I missed there, but I think that's most of it.
We also scouted out the place where the ball was going to be held.
Yeah, I think I talked about that.
Okay.
You went.
There was a lot, so
you did a full circle around it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Okay.
All right, perfect. So you spent the night here. Ender heard some weird noises in the middle of the night, but other than that, uneventful. And you wake up the next day as the sun rises in this old and dusty inn. So, as you awake, what do you do? Anyone?
Guys, I just realized there's no windows in this room.
Oh yeah, true.
I will slowly get up and just stretch at the side of the bed just to prepare for the day.
I'm gonna get up and go over to this room's door and just listen. Do I hear anything?
Make a perception roll.
17.
All right. You hear sort of a similar scratching from behind this boarded up door.
Okay.
It's pretty quiet, but just barely there.
I'm gonna knock on Perry's door. Betty,
Having a bit of a laggy day on World Tour. That's always fun.
No, Perry's not here right now. Please leave a message after the beep beep.
goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Now, last session, I think Perry started to board up her door from the inside, but I don't remember if she actually ended up going through with it.
No, it's still boarded up.
Okay, yeah, you dragged the dresser in the way. I remember,
Yeah,
but
there's still like a little peephole that didn't even really cover the door.
yeah, because the door swings outwards, so it's not going to stop the door from opening. But...
Yeah, so it just looks like a counter now.
All right, so the others head downstairs. Hang on, let me just double check something. Perry should also not be here. All right. The others head downstairs without Perry. To a significantly more empty tavern floor. As there isn't really anyone who wants to be up and drinking in the morning, so it's just the bartender behind the bar. Let's get some ambiance. There isn't really anything that matches perfectly with this place, but that's all I have to do. So the three men that were drinking there are nowhere to be seen this morning. As you make your way back down,
You guys wanna-
making sure to be careful on that bottom step that's broken.
Do you guys want to sit down and wait for Perry, or do you guys want to go outside?
You think she's actually going to come down if we don't drag her out?
Might be a while. I'm gonna walk outside.
I'll
All right.
follow.
Fox very audibly sighs in frustration. Goes back upstairs to get Perry.
All right, hang on. Let's go back upstairs then.
I'm just gonna open the door. What the?
As you open the door, you just see a large dresser placed in the way.
What's Perry doing right now?
I'm still sleeping, man.
So I'm gonna quietly hop over the dresser. I'm gonna get close to her. And I'm gonna yell, "Get up!"
Hello? Hello? Why are you yelling at me?
Now I pull the covers up from off of her.
Is it time to wake up now?
Yes, get up now.
Can I stay here and figure out more information in
No.
the bar?
Let's go.
Okay, fine, Mr. Grumpy Man. 1 second. Perry gets up and doesn't even fix her hair, so she's just gonna walk around with crumply hair.
I'm gonna move the dresser for her.
All right.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Grumpy Man, for waking me up in my beauty sleep.
I'm gonna go ahead and close the doors. We have an important task. We have to stay focused.
All right. The two of you then make your way back downstairs. to the empty tavern floor.
Oh no, Perry's still dragging her feet. Perry's not there. Oh, Perry appeared.
Perry's very slow.
Alright, you make your way outside to join the rest of your party and come to this map. Alright, so you return to the shady side of Luchen's and smell the signature smell of seawater mixed with grime that the shady side seems to have. One thing that you can see that Rachel is sitting in her usual spot. But proud, as you look across the canals, you see on the little bridge that leads to the manor is a man who appears to be inspecting the lock on the gate.
Good morning, Rachel.
Morning to you as well.
Do you by chance know how long this guy's been over here? And I'm gonna point to the guy at the old manor.
Yeah, just a couple minutes really. But he's around from time to time. Usually just checks the lock and then heads off.
Is he with the guard?
I don't think so. He doesn't dress like any guard I've ever seen.
I see. Thank you, Rachel.
Epido. She coughs and taps the small pouch that she has for gold. Fox, as you approach, the man has sort of long silvery hair. He's not facing you, but you can see that he's wearing rather nice looking clothing. Clearly not some sort of beggar or rather out of place for this side of town. But he seems focused on the lock as you walk up behind him. Ender jumps into the canal.
I'm gonna try and like slowly walk up and just get by him and be like, "That's a lock, all right."
Actually, as you approach, walking up behind him, he stands up straight and says, "Oh, hello." As he turns around, can I help you with something?
No, I was just saw you and I was just curious. That's all.
Ah, well, not to worry. I'm not breaking in. Actually, I'm inspecting the lock because well, I heard that from the guard that someone was making trouble around here just the other night. So I'm just making sure that the lock hasn't been tampered with.
That's really strange. Are you with the manor or the guards?
Well, loosely, I suppose you could say. My family used to work for the people who used to live here, and well, after their unfortunate demise, you may have heard about that. The only one left was my family, so it was sort of left under my custody. So I just check the locks from time to time to make sure nobody's going inside. But other than that, not really involved with the manor.
So do you work for the new lords at the current manor?
No. If you mean the queen, no.
What's your name?
Charles, how rude of me. Charles St. Catherine.
My name is Fox. Nice to meet you, Charles.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm Ender.
No, were you lot staying in this side of town recently?
Yeah, we're staying over here at that inn, and I just point over there.
You didn't happen to see anyone milling about the manor the other day? Some
No,
children
but we
causing
heard
trouble?
last night when we were in our room, we heard a loud screaming noise. I'm not sure what that was.
That's the mechanism on the lock, alright. You said it happened last night then?
Yeah, it was close to the sundown.
I see. Well, it doesn't appear as though anyone got inside, so not much to be done about it.
Well, I'm sorry for interrupting. It was a pleasure to meet you, Charles.
Oh, no,
Before we
don't
go.
worry about that. I was almost done here anyway.
You have a nice rest of your day. And he's gonna bow.
You as well.
Hey guys, hold on. So last night when I was laying in my bed, I heard something on the other side of the wall in the room next to me. It was like some scratching noise. I'm not sure.
Maybe there was a couple.
Well, I don't. It wasn't that kind of a noise.
Like scratching against the wood, or
I couldn't really tell. It was kind of soft and quiet, so. But it sounded like it was definitely from the other room. It wasn't like some animal on the roof or something.
huh. And that was the room that we were told not to go into for any reason.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure what we want to do about that, but it was something curious that I thought I'd share.
Well, I think if we decide to purchase the magnifying glass, that could be one use of it. In any case, we can see how effective it is, because when I tested it out, it was able to go through the stone walls, but it couldn't go through cloth. So maybe testing it against a wooden wall is good practice at least, and it gives us something to look for.
Perry would like her Duna coin back.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do first. Help Perry get her Duna coin, purchase the magnifying glass, and go about the rest of our day.
Do you guys want to get breakfast at the nice inn first?
I don't want to show my face around there for a while. I don't think it's a good idea, at least.
Does anyone want to go with me?
I think it's a good idea to avoid it also.
I think I might go by myself then.
Yeah, I mean, if one of us goes and scouts it, I talked to the barmaid about going upstairs last night, so I probably shouldn't be going in,
Considering
just in case if they said something.
considering they saw my face and I was the one that actually committed something wrongdoing by trying to barge in, I shouldn't go anywhere near there either.
Well, to be fair, you showed us all of our faces, so there's that.
Yeah, I did.
But it's fine. We'll fix it. Let me see if I can do something. I'll get breakfast. If you guys want to go to the shops, I can give you gold, unless someone else can cover it.
Well, I don't think. Is there anything else we need to buy in the shops? We got our masks. Ender got. You said you got a herbalism kit.
Well,
I think we just need enough gold for the magnifying glass. That's the only thing I can think of. Is there other business we need to do in the shops?
well,
Unless we want to buy that lantern with an imp in it.
yeah, I kind of want the lantern, in all honesty. So I was thinking of actually buying it.
Wait, really? I was joking.
No, I'm not joking. Do I ever joke?
Unsure, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to tell with you a lot of times.
Well, yeah, I can't tell if you're sarcastic or just mad. Sometimes it's both.
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, we can buy that for you. I'm assuming. Well, we need to pull all of our gold together as well. I've got 10 pieces. How much do the rest of you have?
Well, I can pay for both because they're each 30.
Okay.
So I can pay for it all.
That's good because I have 1 gold piece.
Yeah, I'm
Wait,
pretty
is,
sure.
is the Magnus buying 30? I thought it was more than that.
Let me check my note.
Wait, no, I don't have any gold. Sorry.
I thought it was 50, if not more.
I think it's
So
50 also.
the imp and the lantern is 30. The small magnifying glass is 50.
All right, so we need 80. So I've got 10.
I mean, I don't need the lantern. I can always get it later. But
Well,
we at least need the magnifying glass.
Do you want the lantern because of the imp or because of the lantern?
All the above.
Hmm.
It's just interesting, and I want to know what's so special.
in any case, we should review. I have 10. Ender has nothing, apparently. Fox, how many gold do you have?
68.
68. And Perry, how much do you have?
Better does not want to tell you.
Perry, we're going to have to pool our resources together at some point.
What? Why? Why are you guys always trying to take my gold?
It's not taking your gold. It's gold that we've all gotten together. Do you want these bands off or not?
Actually, Perry thinks they're quite fashionable. They're friendship bracelets.
All right. Fox, give me the gold. I'll go buy the Magnus Spine glass and the imp if you want it. If not, then I'll just give you 30 pieces back.
I mean, you don't have enough. Even with yours, we're only at, so what, 78, right? Because you have 10?
I mean,
All right.
we could potentially barter down 2 gold. Not that big of a difference.
If we say we can say we'll buy both of them, but for 2 pieces, especially since he's been trying to get rid of the imp, we can probably buy both for 78.
No, all right. You can have all my gold. That's fine.
Well,
Wait.
actually, you
on
probably need
second
a
thought,
little bit because you have to buy breakfast, right?
yes. Give me. I'm giving you 63 gold,
63. All right,
and I'm
73
keeping
gold.
5 for myself.
Okay.
Okay.
So Proud, you just have to talk him down 7 gold.
All right, I'll try.
All right.
Is that all we wanted to do for the day?
Yeah, how about we all meet up at the blacksmith afterwards?
Okay, sounds good. Have fun at your breakfast, Fox.
All right. So Proud and the other two, Ender and Prairie, are you going with Proud?
Yeah.
And then Fox is heading to the residential ward.
Yep.
Let's do Fox first.
Great.
All right. Other 3. All right. You make your way back towards the residential ward. The sort of acrid smell in the air fades as you leave the shady side of Lucens, and you're back in the much more pleasant to look at section of the city. And making your way towards La Sala Milata. Man, we're lagging real bad today on Roll20. Is anybody else having that, or just me?
I'm good.
I'm not lagging.
Okay, so just me. That happens from time to time. And then making your way into La Sala Milata. Let's just get ready to. All right. All right. You make your way into the more upscale tavern. The yellow tinted windows are sort of glowing in the morning light. but the bar itself is pretty empty this morning. Doesn't seem like quite everybody's woken up for the day, but the innkeeper and barmaid are behind the bar, just kind of casually chatting as you approach.
Good morning.
Good morning to you as well. Can I help you?
Yes. Can I have breakfast, please?
Indeed. Cook up some eggs for 2 gold. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, that's fine. Here you are.
All right. My niece will have that for you in just a moment.
Thank you
And
very
she sort of gives a hand motion to the younger red-haired woman, who quickly begins to get to work.
So I'm gonna sit here for a while, probably about 30 minutes or so. Wait for food to come. I'm gonna eat, see if anyone comes down. After about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, I'm gonna do something else. If no one else comes down.
All right. Within 10 minutes, the young barmaid brings over a plate of food for you. And then returns back behind the bar saying, enjoy your meal.
Thank you.
And then maybe about another 10 minutes later, where the hell did you go? A woman that you recognize as Proud talked to the other day descends the stairs and has a seat at the bar. Just sort of talking casually with the innkeeper. As you eat your breakfast, you see them bring her some food as well, which she eats. You're pretty much done your meal now, and it's been almost a half an hour. She stays at the bar as they hand her food as well, which she begins to eat. So we're coming up on your time that you said, so is there anything else you want to do?
Yeah, so I'll grab my plate and I'll go back up and I'll bring the plate over to the bar.
The woman that Proud was talking to the other day kind of gives you like a nod of recognition, as she sort of has seen your face before, but doesn't really say anything. She's got her mouth full of food.
I'll nod back and I'll look at the bartender. Excuse me, I had a question. I don't know if you can answer, but a friend of mine, her name is Lorraine, and her husband are here. I've been trying to meet up with them, and we had an event last night, and I was hoping they were still here.
Weren't you with that missionary the other day?
Yes, it's true.
Well, I haven't seen them this morning, so they must be in their rooms.
That's great. I appreciate that. I'll just continue to wait then. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so I'm sitting back down, I'm waiting, and my goal is when they come down, if they see me, I want to motion them to the table where I'm sitting.
Okay. The woman who talked to Proud the other day finishes up her meal and then she heads out the door. You wait for maybe another 10-15 minutes. and then see two familiar faces head down the stairs. They almost immediately glance to the side and make eye contact with you. And you can see sort of like an uncomfortable look across their faces.
I smile. Ah, Lorraine. Hey, come sit. Come sit.
You see the woman and man sort of give each other glances. And then the woman walks to the bar and the man walks to your table to sit down. You can see the woman talking quietly, kind of leaning over the bar to the innkeeper. And the man sits down at your table and says, "Did you need something, friend?"
Good morning. You can call me Fox.
All right. My question still stands.
Yes, I'm going to be straightforward with you. I know that you have attire for the waitstaff, for the mansion, for the gala, and I want to know why. Because I also need said attire, and if you want, I will share my information with you as well. I know everything that you spoke of yesterday.
For work, of course. Why else would we need them?
Why are you only staying for a few days?
Because we're in town for the work, of course. I'm a little confused as to what you're getting at here.
Why'd be so secretive then? I don't understand. Is it so shameful to just get work?
Not shameful. The ladies' masquerade ball only happens once a year, and people snap these positions right up. So it's not unheard of that people would try and muscle their way into the uniform. If you get my drift, it's a pretty well-paying job.
I see. Well, I apologize for being my group and I, for all being so harsh. Um, we've traveled a very long way, and we're trying to get in because we have important business with the lady, but she doesn't she doesn't want to see us. Doesn't mean it's not right, but she's timid.
I see. And for that reason, you want me and my wife to give up this position that we've gotten.
If we give you the gold in return for the job, would that be sufficient? You would basically get everything without the work.
I suppose.
Then do you suppose we could get the uniforms if that's the deal?
If you can pay.
How much is it?
Position like that was 200 gold for a night.
Well, as I said, you could have the gold. So after the night, you can take it. I don't have any need for it. You can have my word. I won't go back on it. And I'll hold out my hand.
You see him sort of sit there and mull it over. How do I know I can trust you? That you won't just disappear with it?
Unfortunately, I don't have any leverage for you. other than the fact that I will not go back on my word as a member of the Mori clan, which I don't expect you to understand.
I haven't
But
heard of it.
we're a group of soldiers, so to speak, that protect nobles from where I'm from.
Yeah.
We don't go back on our word. When we make an agreement and we shake, we stick to it, better or worse.
All right. He squints his eyes, kind of scrutinizing you. But he doesn't seem to find any lies in what you're saying about the Mori clan. Well, if I'm gonna say yes to this, then we need more details. Where are we going to meet after the ball? Where? More details, I suppose. You tell me, since this is your little idea.
If you would like, I can come directly here. I can ask the bartender for you if you won't already be out. If you'll be in your room, I could ask if she'll allow me up with her, and then I will meet you to give it to you right then and there.
I see. Make a persuasion check.
Yeah, it's a 14.
With a 14, he looks kind of unsure. He says, "Well, I'll do it on one condition. You leave something that you value with me."
I'm afraid all I have is this sword, but I will say was going to get it reforged today or something.
What about your companions that were with you?
What about them?
They have anything of value they could leave with me?
I'm afraid we're pretty light. I know we were going to the stores today. You could have one of our items that we are going to procure. Something that I was wanting in particular. You could have it until we return.
I suppose. Well, if you return with that, then we've got to do. Until then, I can't accept it.
I understand. Well, I need to go meet with them. But I will bring this exchange if you will still be here. I hope we can keep our word. And what was your name, if you'll give it to me now?
My name was Flambert.
It is an honor, Flambert, and I am sorry again for scaring you and your wife. I assume your wife. I don't actually know that. But thank you for listening.
Alright. He stands up from the table and sort of straightens his clothes.
As we start leaving, or I start leaving, because it's just me. It was nice talking to you, Flambert. Nice to see you again, Lorraine. See you guys later.
They sort of shoot a look back at you, not angry, but also not like friendly. They just kind of watch you leave, and then you see them turn around and talk to each other again.
All right. Well, that's it for me. Guess I'm going back.
All right. Then let's go to the other group who are going for a swim. All right. The others make your way back to. So you're not here. You shouldn't be there. All right.
All right. Oh God, Perry. Never
Perry
mind.
runs to go get her Duna coin.
You burst into Oswaldo's oddities to find him sitting behind the counter, and then he goes, "Oh, in a hurry this morning?
Hello, Mr. Osvaldo.
You're here to pick up what you left with me the other day."
Yes, my precious Duna coin. You have it?
Of course, it's right here. You see him kind of reach down into his behind his desk, and he picks up a small little cloth that he's wrapped in, and he unfurls it on his desk and hands you, sort of gingerly, your Duna coin. Your
Yay!
runic
Thank
coin.
you. Mr. Osvaldo, what you find about my precious Duna coin? Please tell me. Go ahead.
Well, I can tell you that it has an aura of some sort of conjuration magic, but it's far more complex than anything I've ever seen. In fact, it seems to almost shift and change as I watch it. It seems chaotic in origin, is all I can tell you.
All Perry heard from that is, yes, it's confirmed. It's a Duna coin.
As for the nature of it, I'm afraid I don't know. Or the origin. I can't say how it was even made.
Great. Mr. Osvaldo, Pinky's very distracted with said coin. Maybe you can go explain it to my friends. They'll understand it better. And Perry's like standing there just like staring at the coin like, Duna coin, I miss you so much. I can't believe I was so far away from you for so long.
I suppose. But it's incredibly odd. It's not like any currency I've ever seen. Any sort of ancient civilization that I've known about. None of them have used any sort of coins like this, and certainly not magic coins.
So if you had to put a value on it,
Hard to say, to be honest. I can't predict what it would do, and I can't predict how it would help anyone, so it's hard to price something like that, you understand. I've worked at this shop here, well, I've owned this shop for over 100 years now, and never seen anything quite like it. I've always been able to put a price tag on everything, but this one, it perplexes me.
Great, so Pinky can keep it because Pinky is thinking maybe I will make it into a necklace.
Well, good luck with that. It seems to be quite impervious to anything I did to it.
No, it's okay. I just wrap some string around it and then put it around my necklace.
I suppose. But, exercise caution with it, because I can't say it's anything that I can predict, so...
What do you mean, Mr. Osvaldo is gonna make me crazy?
I have no idea. I have no clue what kind of effects it could have, so all I say is exercise caution. It's a bit of a disclaimer so that I'm not liable, you understand.
Yes, I do understand. It's okay. It's okay. Pinky's already crazy and she knows it, so it's fine.
I suppose. We're all a little bit crazy.
So I got a question for you, Mr. Osvaldo. My friends want to buy something from you.
Ah, yes, which item?
I believe they wanna get this like magnifying glass thing, and Mr. Grumpy Man, you remember him, Fox? He wants to buy your little guy in cupboard.
Ah, you mean the lantern? And the magnifying glass?
Yes, yes.
Ah, well, I have them with me.
Great. I'll let them talk to you because I'm gonna go find someone to make this into a necklace, okay?
The rest of you see Oswaldo hop down from his tall stool that he uses to see over the counter and waddle his way over to some of the cabinets where he pulls out the small magnifying glass that you were looking at the other day, and then moves over to the other cabinet where he pulls out the lantern that has the kind of shutters that cover it.
Perry let Oswaldo know what's going on and then left, so I tell Proud.
All right. Oswaldo waddles over to you guys and says, "Here are the items I was told you wish to purchase."
Yeah, before purchasing, I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about the lantern with the imp. I noticed it was worth 30 pieces, and it's the same price as another item in your shop. I was curious if there's more to the imp than an untrained eye would know. Not to try to assume, but this is a place of oddities, and I'm not very well versed, so I was curious why it was so high if you mentioned no one wanted to buy it.
Yes, well, it used to be 50 gold, but it's only been marked down since. No one seems to want to purchase it. I think they think that the little fellow inside is a tad annoying, which I can understand. I keep it shuttered the entire time it's here. In fact, I was considering marking it down again, as 30 gold seems to appear to be still too high.
Well,
As far
yeah,
as what it does, it gives off quite a bit of light, and well, that little fellow inside, he keeps chattering away. But anytime I try to have any sort of conversation with him, it always just turns to insults, and well, then I shutter him up again, and try again the next day, and same result.
and you mentioned gives off light. Is that from the light itself or the imp?
Well, the little imp fellow himself gives off the light. There's no
understand.
actual light inside the lantern. No candle
See.
or any sort of wick like that.
Has this imp tried to escape when you try to have a conversation with it?
No. He seems actually quite content in his lamp, although not quite as content with the dresser that I stuff him in.
That's understandable. Well, I think we can help each other out. I can take that off your hands, but unfortunately, all I have for both items is 73 gold pieces. 50 for the magnifying glass and 23 for the imp with the lantern. Figure gives you that markdown you might have been thinking about, and it takes it off your hands.
I see. Well, I do want it gone, and I don't think anybody else is going to purchase it.
It is all the gold that we have. If you want, you can actually look at the magnifying glass. So I know it didn't work on cloth, but you can check myself and Ender here, and myself and Ring here. We don't have any other gold pieces on us.
I tell you what. I'll accept your little markdown, but I'll drop it another 3 gold. How's that sound?
That's very much appreciated. Thank you for your generosity.
And you go around and you tell everyone that Oswaldo's Oddities is the best place in town to find trinkets and antiques.
If that's not known already, I'll make sure to talk their ear off.
Of course.
I appreciate your business, Osvaldo. Oh, and then I'll make the trade with the 70 gold. So I'll take 10 off mine. Yeah. Take that off. And then the remaining amount off of Fox's total.
All right.
Also, Nick, I was wrong. I only had 8 pieces of gold. So sorry, I accidentally used 2 more than I was expecting from you. Whoops.
That's fine. You just let me know whenever I get back how much, if any, is
Okay.
left.
Cool. Will do.
Would you like me to package the items, or were you just taking them with you?
If you could hand the glass to my friend Ring here, I'll take the lantern.
Sure.
He hands you the magnifying glass, and then Proudy hands you the lantern.
And I was actually curious about one other thing as well, though.
Yes.
You kind of you go about, seeking or finding out secrets about, magical items and things that most people have never come into contact with. Why do you keep this all wrapped up? And it's the one thing you can't touch. I understand you don't want us to touch it, but would you mind seeing it? My natural sense of curiosity is just bothering me a bit.
Ah,
And
n-
at
no.
the very least, if you don't want to reveal it, then an answer would be something I'd be interested in.
Well, that's another little item that, well, I can't get rid of. I'm not going to uncover it for all of our benefit.
Oh,
But it's a curious little mirror, I will say. I originally was given it by one of my relic hunters, and they weren't quite sure what to do with it, but it definitely had some sort of magic aura. So I spent some time examining it. I had it hanging up in my shop here for quite some time, and every once in a while when I would walk by, I would swear that there was something different about the room. A silhouette that shouldn't be there, or something odd about my own reflection. And the occurrences kept happening more and more frequently, and started to unsettle me. I couldn't sleep at night. I kept wondering about what would be different in the mirror next, and eventually I just covered it, and I haven't uncovered it since. And to be honest,
see.
I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I don't dare break it or get rid of it in case I unleash something else worse. But for now, it should stay right here.
I understand. And for everyone else's safety that you come across, you're probably not planning that off to anyone, right?
No plans to pawn it off anytime soon.
Speaking of treasure hunting, if
Yes?
we do happen to find any oddities along our travels, I'm assuming you'd be willing to pay a good price for them.
Yes, of
Potentially.
course. You bring them on back to Oswaldo, and I'll take a good look at them. And if I find some sort of value that I can sell, and you don't want it, then I will work out a small little deal, and I'll purchase it off you. You can become one of Oswaldo's relic hunters. Quite a lofty title, I'm sure.
So what about a trade? Like, if we find an oddity, would you potentially trade one of your oddities for that one?
Well, I don't typically do that. I suppose it's possible. It's not my usual way of doing business. It would depend on the item that you wanted as well as the item that you were bringing.
That's fair. We'll keep an eye out.
All right. You come right on back to Oswaldo's oddities and see me again if you have something. Perry, outside, as you're outside, you see the woman that Prow was talking to the other day. She walks kind of down the street towards you, gives you a small nod as she passes by you and enters the shop.
Hello. Okay, bye.
As she walks in, she goes, Oswaldo, I see you with some customers. I'll wait for the moment.
We were just wrapping up here.
I'll just wait by the counter. You take your time.
All right. Take care.
All right. You make
If
your
I
way.
just look through the magnifying glass, is it a regular magnifying glass if I'm not holding it up directly against something?
Yeah. So it needs to be activated.
Okay.
Yeah.
By spinning 180 degrees the glass on the end of it, as you
Great.
saw Oswaldo do the other day. But until you do that, it acts as a standard normal magnifying glass.
Okay.
Well, Fox did say that once we're done to meet back up with him. Should we go back to the square then?
No, we were gonna meet him at the blacksmith.
Oh, right. All right.
By the way, I don't know if we should really keep up the pseudo aliases. I don't think we're really doing a very good job at maintaining that. So maybe we just go with our real names.
Yeah, might as well. Plus, if they had wanted posters by this point, then whoever sent us, like Guys, I think his name was, he wouldn't have even bothered if that was a thing. He's probably holding off on information being spread so we can accomplish our task. So you're probably right. Sounds good, Ender.
All right, Perry, you see your party members leave Oswaldo's oddities and begin to head towards the blacksmith.
I had a question. Is there actually fish in there, like in front of me?
Every once in a while, you kind of see the shape of a tail or a fin breach the water and then head back down. Sometimes just bobbing up to bite at an insect and then heading back down into the canal.
Oh, okay, because I wanted to feed Ebony, so I was wondering if I can have Ebony go and try to get some of those fishies.
Oh yeah, you can have Ebony. Big.
It's a giant owl.
You can have Ebony make an attempt to grab some fish.
Great. Do I roll for that?
Do you have Ebony's stat block?
I don't think so. Where? Oh, 1 second.
I can also send you the owl stat block.
What do I need from it? Because I clicked on the stat block, but not quite sure what I'm looking for.
Just have it make a talon attack against the fish.
Sorry, 1 second.
If you're having trouble finding it, we can just make something up for right now and then figure it out later. Just to keep things moving.
No, I need to make something up because I
That's
think I
fine.
clicked on the wrong button.
No worries. We'll just use a +5 to hit. Your Ebony should have no trouble seeing the fish, as owls have really sharp eyes and keen senses. So Ebony would be able to find the fish on his own. So just roll a d20 +5.
Looks like that's a 10 plus 5 is 15.
Okay. Then Ebony sort of dive bombs towards the water, and you see him snatch at the water with one of his talons. And when he swoops back up towards you, you can see that he's sort of dripping with water. And there's a small-ish wriggling fish in his claw.
Oh, good job, Ebony! You have such a good breakfast now. Wonderful. Now let's go catch up with our friends.
Ender and Proud, you hear from behind you just a splash in the canal.
Someone's swimming? What the? Oh.
Hey guys, I fed Ebony. Ebony learned new trick of getting his own food. So we're training him to go get fishies by himself.
That was really impressive.
Yeah, you've only been with that bird a couple days and you already taught it how to fish by itself. That's pretty crazy.
Right, next I'm gonna go teach Ebony how to go fetch some things for myself. I'm gonna be like, Ebony, go get my glass. Perry's too lazy to go get it. Please fly over there and grab me my drink.
Well, it is a wild. It is still. Well, maybe you're getting closer to domesticating it. I guess it's not really a wild animal anymore.
That's
But
okay. Perry can also send secret messages. Ebony, go get secret message to secret friend. Bye bye. And then maybe Ebony will do it right this time. You know, good Perry.
that could happen. That'd be really useful. But by the way, Perry, Ender brought up a good point. It doesn't seem like there's any wanted posters or any news spreading about people breaking out of Basat, so it's probably not even worth with the names that we had before. Instead of calling yourself Pinky, you can just introduce yourself normally to anyone we meet.
Why, Pinky? I mean, Perry. Anyways, I thought it was great. I thought people Pinky promise and they didn't know what Pinky promise meant. It just meant you promise Pinky. Get it? Pinky promise.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop you if you want to keep doing that. I just wanted to let you know. That way, if you don't freak out if you see people calling me proud and him Ender.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Anyways, Perry already has secret disguise. I have Ebony sit on my head, and then all of a sudden, Perry's different person because Ebony looks like tall hair.
I don't know if an owl is super discreet or subtle. I'm gonna be honest.
Why everybody at the beach did it? Another woman had parrot on top of her head. Nobody said anything.
Yeah, but we all knew there was a parrot on her head.
Okay, whatever. That's fine. You know, just burst Perry's bubble.
Look, maybe we can work on it. Maybe that'll be another thing you can teach Ebony.
No, it was already ruined. It's okay. It's
Maybe if you
fine.
like duck your head into your armor a little bit, then it'll look like you have a bird head.
A what?
Like Ebony's your head.
But that's what Perry was saying before. Ebony is Perry's hair, tall hair.
Yeah, but you have to like duck your head into your armor so they can't see your face.
Be a little snug fit for a owl to fit with her in an armor, don't you think?
I'm just saying.
But Perry doesn't have armor on right now.
I guess that's true. Well, once we get armor for you.
That's okay. Me and Ebony will figure it out. I was thinking maybe Ebony can be like, this guy's pirate owl. I don't know. Perry can have Ebony on her shoulder, and then all of a sudden, Perry's a pirate. Perry the pirate.
That does have a great alliteration.
I need to borrow your hat.
You spend some time talking amongst yourselves, and before long, you see Fox approach from the direction of the residential district.
Fox over here. All right. You said you needed something new with your or you said you wanted me back up. How'd it go? How's breakfast?
So I might have misunderstood their intentions, and they were just trying to get to work.
Oh.
But the good news is they are going to let us have the uniforms, and we'll do the work. In exchange, they can get the money that we earn, because apparently it's 200 a night.
Jeez, no wonder they were so defensive about their clothes. All right. Well, that seems pretty good. Why do I feel like the other shoe's about to drop?
Well, they asked for something of a value, so I was actually going to see if you were able to get the lantern, so I can use it as leverage, so they can hold it until we're done.
I don't know if that's something they'll be interested in.
They already said they would.
I
They
mean,
don't know what the item is, so they don't know it's annoying. So my goal is to wait until the night of, then give it to them.
We also
Sure.
got the Magnaspine glass.
Good.
Yeah,
We wanted that. But
it's not that. I worry about the deal reneging. I mean, if we want to make sure that they keep this deal, it's not about getting the clothes. It's about them staying quiet after we get the clothes, because the guard that hired or gave the clothes away didn't give it to us. That he gave it to them. So to make sure that they stay quiet and don't say anything about how there's a shady deal, we need to give them something that's actually worth something, not trying to put one over them. I think I can take care of it though.
But I'm not putting anything over them. He's already agreed.
Did you describe the item that you gave to him? Does he know what he's getting?
Nope, and he didn't ask. He just asked for something of value, and I told him it was something that I was very interested in, and I wanted it, and he could hold on to it until afterwards. And he
Fox,
was okay.
I don't think you're seeing the obvious hole there. It's a good idea, and you did a really good job giving us a road to getting the clothes. But I think we can do something better that can secure their silence. I think I've got something. I don't think we need to go the route with the imp.
Well, what do you have to offer then?
So we want to make sure that they stay quiet. So we got to give them an incentive to stay quiet, other than just giving them gold, right? What if?
Yeah, or something of value.
Right. What if I told them me being a pirate to them? That's information that they would have to keep secret.
They don't have
And
to keep that. They can use that against you and take the bounty on your head. That's stupid.
no, but then there's no reason to talk, because it also ruins the deal. Then they don't get the gold. They also don't know if there's even a bounty on my head. There's no way they could go get that or search that. The crew that I'm in is not very well known around here. Even though there's a couple pirates around here too. It's not the end of the world, but it could buy their silence. And being transparent with that information, especially the stunt that I pulled off yesterday, it can be a way to make it up to them as well.
I understand that you are not happy with what happened and you feel like you need to make it up. But with this issue in this instance, I think you should trust me and I think I've got it handled. If not, I will own my mistake. But I think giving your information is too much of a value.
Fox buddy, it's like, it's not that if it's a mistake, it's on you. If we make a mistake, they blow our cover. This whole thing's done.
I kind of
Leave it
agree
with-
with Fox on this one. I think we just have to trust him that he made the right decision and offer up the leverage that they want.
All right. I'll use my information as a backup plan, unless anyone has anything better. Because I'm assuming they're going to want to inspect the item before they agree to anything.
Yeah, and if they think that the lantern isn't good enough, then maybe we can give them the Magnus Spyglass instead.
I think we need to keep that for what we need to achieve.
I agree, but if we don't have any other option, that's a decent backup plan.
Yeah, I would almost rather keep the Magnus Spyglass over the knowledge of me being a pirate. Honestly.
Yeah, we'll just see how it works out.
All right. That sounds good.
All right. What is your course of action now?
Fox, do you want to go talk to the blacksmith?
Yes, so I might be there for a while. These things usually take quite a long time. I don't necessarily know how long I will be there today, and I'll probably have to come back multiple days. Best case, only days. So I can speak with him and we can figure out a plan, but just keep that in mind that I will probably be taking most of my time away and putting it here.
Okay, I have some other things I am curious about, so. How about we go talk to him first and just see what the timetable seems like?
Yeah.
Alright, you make your way into the doors of La Forgia, and see Xavier behind the anvil as usual. And he sees you walk in and says, "Ah, you're back. You want to talk about the sword or something else?"
Good morning, Xavier. Yes. I was curious about the sword. If we could talk about the process. It normally takes a long time, but I was hoping maybe we could simplify it a little bit, just for a temporary use for me.
I see. What was your plan for simplifying it?
So normally, where I'm from, the swords use two different kinds of metal. They use one that is very flexible, but isn't sharp at all, and then we use another one that is, and we sharpen it to a fine point. So it's very, very singular in its point and precision. But it can also be very difficult to make because it's two different metals. Um, so I was hoping we could just use this single metal and just have it fit the shape, so it at least it can feel somewhat better.
I see. We'll have to do a little more talking about the process of that before I can say it's possible, but I'd be willing to hear you out.
That's great. I can meet you like back at one of the taverns. Spend some time with him or wherever you're going next. What else did we need to do today?
Well, I wanted to go visit the library, but I'm not sure how long. I mean, I assume I'm gonna be there a while as well, so.
I could just meet you there. It might take me a little while with Xavier.
Okay, yeah, we'll just meet there. That sounds good. Okay, I let the others know that he'll meet us at the library.
Alright, then Fox, for the rest of quite a while, um, Xavier has you sort of almost like sketch out exactly what you want done with it, and describe the process before he's going to start, as he doesn't want to ruin the blade that you're giving him to work with. The
Okay.
others, you guys are heading towards the residential district then?
Yes.
And just give me a sec. And drag you here. Alright, you make your way down the canals, through some of the streets towards the residential district. And before you, you see the two larger buildings surrounded by a bunch of houses that line the canals. The church on your left, and then what you learned was the library on your right. The library, the building that the library is in, is looks relatively old, but it looks like they've sort of repaired it multiple times and sort of kept up the maintenance on it. But it does look like it's been around for quite some time. The architecture of it looks just a little bit dated compared to the rest of the city. The door is unlocked, and you can make your way inside. 1 second, I'll bring you in there. All three of you going inside?
Yep,
I'm
I think so.
Yeah, I want to go inside.
Alright. Then you make your way inside. The room itself is well lit and rather nice. It seems like it's been remodeled recently, almost. The halls are sort of lined with bookshelves. There's sort of intricate woven carpets on the ground. And Proud and Perry, from down one of the aisles of books, you can see a younger looking girl carrying a pile of papers, talking with an older, kind of shrewd looking woman who's got a set of eyeglasses that she's holding up to her face.
Just looking at the entire library, does it look like there's sections of books, or is it just kind of a mishmash of everything?
It doesn't appear to you as though there's sections. There's nothing labeled or anything like that.
Okay.
Perry, as you approach the two women that are standing there and talking, the older woman is saying to the younger one, Leslie, how many times do I have to tell you to not show up late for work? And the younger woman is sort of like bowing profusely and apologizing. I'm sorry. I know you've told me before. I ran into something on the way, and I apologize. It won't happen again. Gertrude. I promise. And then they both sort of turn to you as you approach, and the older woman says, "Yes, can I help you?" Looking down her glasses at you, Perry.
Hello, my name is Perry, and I wanted to see if maybe you have some books about training owls.
Training owls?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, not exactly what we would typically have in our library, although we do have quite a few books here. If you allow me a moment, I suppose I can search through our catalog for one.
Should we wait until you procure that, or do you want us to all tell you what we're curious for?
Yes, if your friends have something they're looking for, then they might as well put in their requests as well.
Okay, I was looking for something about the flora of Carcassonne.
Shouldn't be too hard to find something like that. And you?
And I was interested in a few topics depending on what you had in your library. First, just the history of the nation of Carcassonne, as well as the geography of islands in Grand Lorien, and yeah, that was those were the two topics I was interested in.
I see. Run along, Leslie. I'll deal with you later. The younger girl just bows again and runs off. I will take a look at our catalogs. No promises on any of those, but we shall see.
And is there a way we can help or assist the library while we wait?
No, I don't imagine we have any use of some strangers off the street.
Well, we don't have to be strangers. My name's Proud Pool. What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Gertrude Gowan. I am in charge of the library here in Lucens, and I have been for quite some time.
Gertrude, is very nice to meet you. This is Periwinkle. This is Ender. We were just visiting Lucens, and I can only speak for myself, but this is the first time I'm actually in the library, and we had some questions that we needed to research, so figured this was a good spot to test our curiosity.
She looks skeptically down her nose towards you, Proud. She's rather tall, and as you say that this is the first time inside a library, you hear her kind of cluck her tongue. and but she doesn't say anything.
It's a very impressive collection you have.
Yes, indeed.
The judgment's understandable too. I just figured this was a good place to start.
As you're talking with her, another woman runs up with thick glasses, and carrying a bunch of papers under her arms too. She runs up to Gertrude and says, "Sorry to interrupt, Miss Gertrude, but I've I finished the thing that you tasked me with." And Gertrude says, "Don't interrupt, Sally. But yes, I'll come and look at it in a second when I'm finished with our guests here." Understood, Miss Gertrude. Sorry. She looks towards you all and says, "Apologies for interrupting." Yeah,
I'll just start browsing the bookshelf here.
The woman apologizes profusely and then heads off in the same direction that Leslie did.
Mrs. Librarian, I also had a question if you have some sort of book over Weird Old Mansion at a not so fancy part of Lucen's.
Weird old mansion? I suppose you mean the Cornell Mansion, put rather bluntly. Books on the Cornell Mansion. I don't believe we have any of those, though I'm going to check our collection and I can scan for that as well.
Great, wonderful. Unlike Proud, Perry loves books. Perry actually used to have Book of Monsters, but now Perry got Book of Monsters taken away from her.
A book of monsters? I see. How quaint.
Yes. You
Now-
got any Book of Monsters too, or no?
I don't think we have any of those, but I can take a peek as well if you want me to.
Great, wonderful, thank you.
Now, if you'll give me a moment, I shall be right back with your information. She heads in the same direction
Guys.
as the other two did.
Guys, I don't think lady over there, Mrs. Old Librarian Lady, liked my books of monsters. It's kind of offending.
I don't think she was a fan of anyone that doesn't have a high propensity to study and stay inside a stuffy library all day.
She seemed perfectly fine to me.
As you browse the sections, you see the first woman just sort of run about, hurriedly walking through the library, placing books back on their shelves, and then returning to a small cart on the other side of the room. And she wheels it around from time to time, placing books up on the shelves, returning them to their spots.
If I just look at the spines of the book, are there like titles on anything, or is it all just...
Some of them are titled, some of them aren't. Right now, you seem to be in a section that is romantic fiction. From what you gather from most of the titles.
Okay.
What you reading there, Ender?
I don't think this is really my type of literature.
Wait, I'm gonna.
Perry probably would enjoy it though.
No, wait. Perry, we've got something that can help Ender out next time he sees Rithia.
Wait, what? Perry would like to go take a look over there.
Yeah, no, come check it out. I'm sure.
Perry stands right there to like prevent Ender from moving even more. Oh, Ender, look! Yes, wonderful. It's like relationship books for like talking to your girlfriends and stuff.
You scan the shelves in front of you, and the books all have titles like "Hearts Ablaze" and things like that. Very sappy sounding romance
Hearts
novels.
Ablaze. I want to grab Hearts Ablaze and give it to Ender.
Oh god. Is this because I'm a follower of Bravo?
Yes. Ender, take a look at this. It's called Hearts Ablaze for your girlfriend, you know, because like Brava is like the sun and the light or whatever. It's definitely made for you. You should borrow this book.
So which one is my girlfriend? Because apparently you think that I have multiples across the entire world.
Well, I mean, we've only been in one nation, so who knows? Might get to double digits by the time we explore the world.
Well, sure. I like start flipping through the pages really fast as if I'm like scanning it.
From what you can gather, it is a very sappy, cliche romance novel by a woman named Sybil Standen.
What Enter fails to tell us, Proud, is right now his girlfriend is clearly Poppy. Let's be serious here. It's Poppy.
True. I mean, Poppy does seem to have a very good standing in the Vigil Brava. I mean, we don't know much about Rithia, but only hope that she can get out of Basat one day.
I place it back on the shelf.
All right, you
Oh,
place
you
it
already
back
studied all of
in
it?
the spot where they pulled it from.
Did you already study all of it, Ender?
Yep, word for word.
All right. What's a new move or tactic you're going to take from that to help with Poppy?
I'm just gonna be the silent, mysterious type.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Uh,
Well, you got that one.
Leslie kind of says, "Excuse me," as she interrupts and, "Could you move out of the way for a moment? Thank you." And she places the book on the shelf and then she runs away.
She's just going all over the place.
She's like a little busy bee.
Do you
Must
think-
be a pretty popular library if she's having to return this many books to their place.
I don't even know. We're the only ones in here, and I don't know if there's like a reading room or whatnot, or a place that we can sit down and read. I mean, do you think she needs any help putting books away?
Nah, she can handle it.
All right. Yeah, if we don't help you, we're just gonna have you read more romance novels.
After some time browsing the shelves, you see Gertrude turn the corner around one of the shelves. She's got sort of like a piece of parchment with her that she's holding. And she says, "Not making a mess, I presume?"
Just exploring more of what this library has to offer.
I see. I see. Now then, let's see. A book. No book on monsters, I'm afraid. A book on the history of Carcassonne, I believe you requested.
Yes, ma'am.
It has been checked out already, I'm afraid.
Oh. Okay.
And what were the other ones? You requested way too many and I lost track. Didn't have time to write them down. It was monsters.
Islands.
Okay, islands.
Perry wanted a book about training owls.
Training
And
owls.
Perry also wanted a book on scary, creepy mansion at
Herbs.
weird part of Luchens.
Mansion.
And then for Ender Flora
I see.
of Carcassonne.
Okay, she goes through her list. She says, no book on monsters. And the book on the history of Carcassonne is checked out. As far as books on islands, I have a book on geography here. More about the formation of islands. I suppose it might mention some of the ones in this area, though.
Yeah, if there was anything close that had maybe maps the islands, that's maybe more I was interested in. So I'm sure it has something.
Might have
useful.
information you're looking for if you wish to check this one out.
What?
A book on the flora of the area. We do have that currently in. And a book on the Cornell Mansion. I'm afraid we do not have that in our catalog. Though, I do remember at one point we might have had one. I'm afraid my memory isn't quite what it used to be.
Like, you mean someone borrowed it and then just completely went off and stole it from you?
No, that doesn't sound right.
So
No.
ghost disappeared book?
Is it simply not checked out or checked out like the History of Carcassonne book would be?
No, it's not checked out. It's crossed out of my list. I wouldn't do that if it was stolen. I would write down that it was stolen. You know what it was? I believe time frame is slipping away from me, but some time ago somebody bought it from us for quite a
Oh.
sum.
Huh. You wouldn't happen to know the name of the buyer, would you?
I'm afraid I didn't write it down. Although I know it was a young man. I don't remember his name.
Huh. You don't happen to remember what he looked like?
Again, my memory is not what it used to be. The best I can help you with is a handsome young man.
Handsome. Well, that might narrow it down in Luchen's for us.
All right, I suppose. Now then, a book on training your owl. I have a book about owls, but not anything about training them, I'm afraid, though you might find some contents in the book about owls.
Do we have a time frame in which we need to return these?
Yes, we typically sign them out for about a week.
Okay. Should be plenty of time.
Though, if you do need more time, you can come back and discuss an adjustment on your time frame.
What if Perry maybe wanted to buy a book?
Buy a book? Well, I suppose we could discuss the price of the book. Which book were you looking to buy?
You give me the one that says how to train owl, correct?
Well, again, it's not a book on how to train an owl, it's just a book about owls.
Yes, same thing. I want to know how much is the price of the book, please?
I believe around only 2 gold. It's not exactly a rare publication.
Wonderful. Perry would like to purchase book from you. Perry's quite a traveler, so I don't want to be breaking rules and stealing book from you.
I see.
She means to say that she was interested in purchasing it.
Yes, that was
Well-
what I said.
Not quite, but I suppose it's better than you running off with it. Were you looking to buy it now then?
Yes. Perry goes through her pockets and gives the lady 2 gold.
Also, that book about the islands, would it happen to have any information about Ikamura?
What?
Would you know? Ikamura, it's a set of islands, or so I've heard.
It doesn't ring any bells to me, but geography isn't exactly my area of study.
Let's see. All right. Well, I'd be happy to rent the book and then return it at the end of the week or when I finish it.
Yes, well, you will need to sign your name, of course, in our catalog that you have taken it out.
Absolutely. Let me. Where's the catalog? I'm happy to sign my name.
She opens a rather robust-looking tome and says, a new page, and flips it over, and then says, sign just right at the top here then. And she hands you a quill to sign with.
All right. So I sign it with my right hand, proud pool, and as I sign it, I'm gonna ask. By the way, you mentioned that the History of Carcassonne book is checked out. How long ago was it checked out? Do you expect to have it returned soon?
She takes the book back from you and flips back. Just 1 day ago, actually. So I imagine they'll have it back in around a week.
Oh, okay. Well, the only reason I was just super interested in that subject. You don't happen to know who's rented that out? Might be able to meet up with that person.
I'm afraid
Discuss it.
I'm not going to disclose that information for you.
Okay.
When she hands me the book, I'll just sign El Sano.
All right.
Guys,
She
what
takes
did I
the book back from you, and says, "No, this won't do. Sign your full name."
Okay. I kind of like.
As you
Mark
look at
up.
it, the ink has faded from where you signed.
Oh. Okay. Lavender Sano.
Much better. She takes the book back from you.
Guys, you think we're ready to go and maybe meet up with Fox? You think he's okay?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
It's a pleasure talking to you, Gertrude.
Appreciate you helping us out.
I suppose. Have a good day. Right, you make your way back outside into the streets of Lucens.
Do you guys want to go check out this temple over here?
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in checking it out.
Might also be a good place to read.
Did they say this was a place where people worship Brava as well?
No, it's a place where they worship Seneschal, goddess related to water, and the goddess most known around Carcassonne and especially Lucens. I don't know exactly how gods work, but I can't imagine they'd be too happy if you started praying to another god in this temple.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Although Ender can probably speak to more to how tight religions are with other deities, as well as reading in church.
I don't think. Well, it probably depends on who the church is for, but I don't think reading is necessarily going to be a problem.
All right,
Just as long as you're not being disruptive or anything like that.
understandable.
Right. You make your way through the large double doors into a room that is immaculately tiled and filled with light from some large stained glass windows.
Proud's going to take off his hat as he enters and carry it with him.
One sec. Before you go into that.
Just gonna sit down at this pew and
Alright.
start reading.
Before you is a long room with pews lined up on each side. You can see two people sitting along the pews as you walk in. From behind, a woman with long white hair, and then another one with shorter dark hair, which have some sort of pointy ears coming out from the kind of curly, messy hair. On the far end of the room is a woman who's just standing there, who looks up as you enter. She's wearing sort of long blue robes and has very kind of pale blue skin and two horns that kind of curl out back along her hair. Proud, as you approach the other side of the room, you can see behind the woman is this large pool of water. It actually flows inward from what appears to be the canals. There are openings low along the wall on either side. forming this sort of very shallow wading pool. Every once in a while, you can see a fish kind of quickly swim through it. And the woman says, "Ah, hello. Can I help you?"
Yes, hello. My name's Proudpool. I just saw this was a temple to Seneschal. I wanted to pay my respects, and I wanted to make sure it was all right for my friends to read in the temple while we were here, and wanted to ask you for permission.
As long as they aren't causing a scene, they may stay.
I appreciate that, and I'll turn to them and see if Perry and Ender are reading already, or and seeing that they are, I'm just gonna turn back to her and say, well, and a reason I wanted to come here was learn more about the goddess.
I see. Was there anything in particular you wanted to know?
Well, I'm just not well versed in her teachings or ways. I don't even know if she has teachings. I just felt like I've had a connection to her. And I'm gonna, mention my skin and gills and
I
tell
see.
Pear.
That is rather common for one of your kind to feel some sort of connection.
And I've been on the seas for most of my life. I just feel like I have a connection to some higher power, and I don't know who that is. And I imagine Seneschal was one of the most likely candidates. I just wanted to learn more about who she is, what she does, and also what she wants from us that are down here.
I see. Well, there's no better way to learn than to make a prayer to her yourself.
I guess I just don't know how to start.
I can show you how prayers are performed at this church.
Sure. I'd love to see.
Now, at this church, we pray by wading into the holy waters here. You will have to leave your boots behind, I'm afraid.
Of course. Take the boots off.
As you look down to take off your own boots, she's not wearing any shoes. And she says, "Now, we begin the prayer by wading into the waters. So if you will, join me." She descends down these stairs into water that reaches just a little bit above her ankles. And then it kind of slowly gets deeper the further you wade out, until it's around your knees. Oh, you're a little big. There you go. And then she says, "Now, typically, everyone does pray in their own way, but for me, I like to close my eyes and feel Seneschal's waters on my feet, and say a small prayer in my mind to her. Now, you might find that that doesn't fit your own tastes, but that is simply how I do it."
I see. Well, I feel like you're a good model to follow for this, so
Oh,
I'll
I am
copy
one
what
of her
you do.
priestesses, so... But I won't say that there's any correct way to do this. Everyone has their way.
I see. And all right, and Proudpool will close his eyes and try to let go of all of his thoughts and just think of Seneschal and try to establish a connection of sense either to her in spiritually.
Alright. As you close your eyes and spend some time just kind of emptying your thoughts, you feel everything else sort of melt away. You stop hearing the sounds of the city around you. You just hear the water kind of gently lapping in this pool. And your feet, you almost lose track of where the water starts and your feet start. they sort of become one. The water was cold initially when you waded in, but now it's almost the exact same temperature as just air, and you feel like you're completely connected into the water.
I'm gonna try to sink myself further into the water as I get this feeling wrapping around me, either by lowering my right arm and then slowly kneeling into the water.
Right. As you sort of kneel into the water, you feel the connection fade for just a sec as the cold water hits another part of your body that isn't used to it. But then slowly you get used to it again. And it connects back and fades within yourself. And now you feel as though you're just an extension of the water itself.
And then after I feel this way in my mind, I'm just gonna try to seek out just anything about Seneschal, ask her if she would want me, what should I do for her, for the church, for the faith, and what is my purpose.
You don't hear a voice, you don't sense any sort of message, but you do feel a fish just kind of brush up against your ankle and just kind of swim circles around you.
I'm just gonna continue to silently meditate then and try to seek or ask similar questions inside my head.
All right, make a religion check for me.
Okay. That's an 8.
All right. You get a feeling of peace from the water, but no specific message. You don't hear any voices or commune with anyone. But the water brings you a sense of peace that you haven't really ever felt before.
After feeling that, I'm gonna slowly rise up, see if the priestess is still continuing to pray or has stopped.
She's stopped and she's just kind of silently watching you.
And then I'm gonna slowly nod to her and then walk back up the stairs.
She follows you as you walk back up the stairs. She approaches you as you walk up and says, well, how was your experience?
I don't know if it's a typical experience for people who are first learning or first experiencing it, but I just felt a sense of peace and calmness. Also, even though I was trying to empty my thoughts, I did notice a fish was around my ankles. I don't know if that's normal or not, but that's what I felt. Just peace and calm, like a resting wave against the beach.
I see. The waters do bring calmness to those who pray, and that is one of the reasons why many people come to this church. And as for the fish, I can't say that happens every time. That's a little unusual, but it's not completely unheard of.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit I've never been a faithful being before, but I'd like to at least try and see if it works or if there is a connection. How do I continue to pray if I'm not around here or in Luchen's?
Well, Seneschal can be found in any body of water, of course.
I see. Well, if that's what it takes to pray, then I think I can accomplish that.
I think you'll find it'll bring you peace in times of hardship.
Yeah, that's I'm motioning my arm. That's I've had a bit of hardship, so I wouldn't mind some
I
peace
see.
every now and then.
I can
Oh,
see that you've had some hardship.
Yeah,
And I'm glad that the waters were able to give you some calmness.
yeah, it did. And I know that there's a temple of Seneschal Luchen's. Is this the only temple like it? You said people from all over come to visit. Are there others in Carcassonne like it?
I imagine there's small shrines and humbler churches, but this is the largest church to Seneschal in Carcassonne.
Are there believers or practicers in Atchi?
I believe so, though I haven't visited myself.
I see.
Anywhere where water is to be found, you're likely to find followers of Seneschal.
I see. Well, I appreciate you walking with me as I went through that experience.
Of
What's your name?
course. I'm happy to show anyone the ropes if this is their first time saying a prayer to Our Lady. My name is Rilasata.
La Santa. My
I'll
name
give
is
the name tag, 'cause
my name is Prabpool.
it is nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well. I'll be over here reading further if you feel it's important to speak with me.
Of course.
And we're gonna pull out the Book of the Islands and continue and start to read.
Alright, so the rest of you are just also reading the respective books that you grabbed.
Do I learn anything from my book of owls?
You learn about the physiology and eating habits of owls.
Great. Wonderful.
And are reading your book about the local flora, right?
Sorry, I had a phone. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
All right. So you spend some time reading a bit of this book. None of you are able to read all the way through your books, but in the time that you spend reading, you figure out that a very large section of this book about the local flora of Carcassonne is spent on grapes, and particularly the inner workings of how they grow them in the vineyards. It makes up a significant portion of the book, as well as a few other sections on a lot of the other things that they grow in this area, including olives and things like that. And that itself makes up a very large chunk, so you can tell that that is relatively important to this region.
Okay. Mostly I'm looking for two things. The first is probably not going to be in the book. Anything but the Blood Rose.
You scan the table of contents, and it doesn't seem like there's anything that would relate to that, though you haven't read the whole book.
Right. And then the second thing would be anything that would be useful to my herbalism kit.
All right.
Potentially like ingredients or stuff like that.
Yeah, alright. If you want to say that you kind of skim through the earlier parts and find a section later on like remedies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to rush through it. Those are just
Okay.
potential things that I'm scanning for as I read.
Alright. Then we can say that you get to that later.
Okay.
Proud. You didn't have quite as
I'll-
much time to read as the others.
Yeah, I was wanted to look at if there's like a table of contents instead of the how islands are formed, rather any map specifically, or if it named any islands in the book.
There's no
Basically,
section.
what I also want to do, basically what I want to do is I want to see if the drawing that we had when we took it from the map in Iron Tusk's office, if it matches any maps that they would have about the islands. And they would have.
From the table of contents, you glean that this mostly focuses on formation of islands and sort of the very slow process and things like that, more in that vein. But you can see that there's a section where they describe a couple existing islands. There's a small section where they kind of use an island as an example to explain the formation of islands using an island that you learn is called Nil Levant, and it describes sort of the slow formation of the island as it used to be part of the mainland, and then slowly over hundreds of years eroded to become an island. And then it mentions towards the end that it's now being used as a school for magic users. And then there's another one about a set of islands called the Tempest Isles, which are way out on the eastern side of Grand Lorien. And it uses that as an example to describe how two islands that used to be connected to each other, they believe, through their archaeology, they believe that these were connected to each other at one point, and then slowly over the course of the time became two distinct islands.
I'll pour and focus on those chapters specifically and try to soak up as much information as I can about those islands.
All right, that's about as far as you get for today.
Okay.
So you spend a little bit of time reading in here. As you're reading, you see some of the other people kind of walk up to the priestess and have a small discussion with her, just quietly, as they nobody's really very loud in this church. She shows this woman here also how to pray, and you see her go into the water and then walk back out again, and she just kind of shakes her head. She's shrugging her shoulders, as if she doesn't really understand what she was supposed to do. And then they talk for a little bit longer, and then the one woman heads back to sit down for another little bit. So you guys spend a bit of today. I don't know how much time you guys want to actually spend here. If you want to use up your entire day reading, or if you want to.
Perry wants to go and find Fox, but before I do that, I'm gonna go and sit next by Ender.
All right.
Hi, Ender. Did you learn anything about your book? And also, we should probably go check on Fox because we had kind of dozed off and didn't realize how far she was reading into her book.
I haven't really gotten far enough into mine to learn much, but it seems kind of interesting. A lot about grapes and olives so far.
Great. That sounds very interesting. We should probably go get proud and leave.
Okay.
All right. Then I suppose the two of you stand up from the pew and head towards the front of the long chamber, where
Hey, Perry.
Hey, Proud. Are you ready to go, or like, are you having like meditation moment here?
No, I'm ready to go if you two are.
Oh, great, wonderful. We should probably check on Mr. Grumpy Man before he gets even more grumpier.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's head out. Yeah, nod to Rosata.
She nods as well and says, "Have a nice day."
You as well.
You make your way back through the large double doors out towards the residential district.
Do I see Fox at the library yet?
Fox, you tell me, because I know you wanted to spend a lot of the day there.
I was just gonna. I wasn't really focusing on that. I was just gonna spend all my time with Xavier, and if he wanted me to help him work on molding, I would. If he did, I would ask just to let the group know, and then go back and work with him until the night.
Alright, because he'll use up as much as your time as you're willing to give him.
Okay. Would this be a process where I could help him during the entire reforging?
Yeah, today is going to be mostly teaching him the process, and showing him the type of blade that you want, as he's not really familiar with either. And then he's going to get to work on it tomorrow. It's up to you if you want to be there to supervise or not.
Okay. I'll probably stay until it gets a little darker. Like it looks like it's about dinner time. Or whenever he's gets ready to close shop, because I don't want to hold up his time. And then I would leave from there and tell him I'll see him in the morning.
Alright, so I would say that you wouldn't have shown up yet. I was just around maybe 4 o'clock.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, then I would stay for another couple hours or however long he was gonna keep the shop open.
Yeah, he closes at 7, so.
Alright, if I don't see Fox, I'm gonna go back in the library and see if I see him in there.
You don't see him in there.
Okay, and then I'll just tell the others. Well, Fox said he'd meet us here, so I guess we just wait.
do you want to have
Patty
him?
has an idea. We can go back shopping.
Okay, how
Is
about
there-
you guys go shopping and I'll wait here for Fox. That way he knows where to go.
Okay, Perry, where'd you want to go shopping?
I don't know. Patty actually just wanted to walk around.
You want to go by the harbors? I don't think we explored all of that area when we landed.
Yeah, Patty can go check that out with you.
Okay. And then, quick question for Jay. When we landed, did we see other paths down to like the left or the right?
There was a path off to your left, I believe.
Okay, so then gonna go back to the harbors and then we'll go left if we're looking straight at the map.
Alright.
So yeah, over.
You two.
Yeah. Get out
I
there.
guess there was a path to your right too. But I think
Yeah,
that's
there's nothing.
just
there's
towards the
nothing relevant,
shady
I
side, I
wouldn't-
believe.
Oh,
It just heads towards the shady side of town.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Then yeah, over here to the left.
All right. Back towards the harbor district. The smell of the sea is a lot stronger, and it's mixed with, as you head down this direction, with the smell of fish rather strongly. And Perry.
Perry, do you smell that?
Sorry, Perry cannot hear you right now because Perry has not looked for her daily Duna coin, and Perry wants to look inside these jugs for Duna coins.
Perry, you know, the last one was in a coconut. I mean, how many times you looked into pots and seen one?
I don't know, maybe one will pop up here. Does Perry see Duna coin? Or any coin?
Most of the pots are empty and just kind of dusty. One of them has a spider web in it with a spider sitting on the web. And then this one has a gold coin sitting in it.
Perry would like to take the gold coin.
All right. You scoop a rather dusty gold piece out of that pot.
Oh, Perry, did you
Great,
get it?
wonderful.
You get a Duna coin?
No, Perry's trying to make back the coin that she spent on the book because, I didn't really learn anything from the book. And so I'm trying to make my money back through finding coins in random places.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. What made you want to buy the book? We could have read it all and probably returned it.
Perry's not very good at reminding herself that kind of stuff. So I would rather just buy it. It was 2 gold. It's okay.
All right. Well, can't really blame you for that. I want to go investigate the smell. Want to come with?
Yes, yes. I will come with.
Probably gonna walk over this way and look at this.
All right. The building that sits before you is an old wooden building with a little bit of water damage to some of the boards. And the smell of fish is definitely coming from this. There's an old plaque that's hung above the door as you approach it that says Grasso Fishery. The door is unlocked. You can hear people talking within.
Side.
One of them turns towards you as you enter and says, "Ahoy! Can I help you?"
Ahoy! We were just looking around for new to Lucen's and wanted to see what Grosso had for sale.
The woman reaches out to shake your hand as she kind of enthusiastically walks up to you, and then realizes that she's still holding a fish that has its head cut off, and just sort of lowers her hand and says, "Well, this is the Grasso Fishery. My name is Harga. Can I help you with something, or are you just here to peek around?"
Peek around. We weren't sure what there was, but obviously fish here. But any type of fish that Grosso's selling?
All sorts. To tell you the truth, we don't really sell them from this building. This is more of the processing.
I see. And do you have any opportunities for work or to help the fishery out? I've got a little bit of an innate talent to help fish.
Well, the fishing boats are all out. We just do the processing of them once they bring us their haul.
I see.
So we don't really need assistance with the fishing part of it.
I see. In that case, are you selling any fish that could be sized for dinner or any portions for that?
I mean, well, we've always got fish in here. Typically, we sell them from the stalls that you might have passed, but I guess if you want to buy them right from here, it's not really much of a difference to me.
Might as well go to the source, right?
I suppose it's a little odd, but not illegal.
Well, yeah. How much does a fish cost?
Depends what you're looking for and what size.
Well, what do you got?
We got smaller fish. We got your cod. We got your a tuna. If you want something a little bit big.
How much would feeding 4 people? What fish would you recommend for that?
Well, probably something a little bit bigger if you're not having tiny little portions. So the tuna would probably serve your purpose.
How much is the tuna?
We could give it away for 5 gold.
5 gold. Huh. Well, Perry, what do you think? You hungry for tuna?
Did you say Duna?
No, the fish, tuna. We've caught one of these before.
Oh, tuna. No, Perry's okay. For a second, I thought you said you found Duna.
No, no, we had yeah, no. So did you want it, or did you want to leave, or you're the only one that has money here?
Perry's okay. Maybe we can. I don't know. Like maybe we can buy tuna for Ebony. I look at Ebony like, Ebony, you want some tuna?
Ebony looks back at you and just sort of hoots.
I think Ebony says she's okay. She kind of went and got fishies earlier.
Okay, I'm not crazy. Ebony was definitely a guy last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure. You can change it if you want, but I think I asked last time and you said it was a guy.
I think I did too, and I just forgot. And sorry, man, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't me who was losing it.
Nope, it's still a guy. Yep, sorry. Nope. Ebony's gender fluid, guys. It's 2021.
Well, if you think Ebony's full and you're not feeling fish, then well, not much else for us to do here, right? Unless there is anything else for us to buy or to know about or look around for.
Well, it's a fishery, so we mostly just have fish here.
Yeah.
Don't know what else you're looking for.
I don't know. Just a sense of something new. We are new in town, so.
I haven't seen your
Anything
faces
we can know
around here
about?
before, but not many people visit the fishery district. They turned off by the smell, I think.
We're unfortunately experienced with bad smell, so it doesn't quite turn us away.
I see.
Perry does have a question. Do you know anything about secret tunnels underneath city? Because people were looking around wells, trying to like look in there and see if they can jump in there and go around secretly around the city.
One second.
Sorry, Jay, my headphones cut out. What did you say?
I was just saying 1 sec. I was just looking at Discord for a sec.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, what were you asking?
Oh, I was just asking what you were asking because I just said something about secret tunnels.
What about secret tunnels? Sorry.
I asked if they knew anything about finding secret tunnels underneath the city.
Secret tunnels? I mean, there's sewers below the city, but I don't know about secret tunnels.
So, you know anything about creepy mansion over there at the creepy part of Luchens?
Oh, the old what's it? The Cornell? Is that what it's called?
Yes, the creepy manor.
Well, most of us stay away from that side of town, and the manor itself is even spookier than the shady side of town. So, can't say I know much about it. Why?
But you just told me that the manor set is creepier than the shady part. What have you heard about it?
Well, all manner of stories from all sorts of folk who come to town. Some people say it's haunted. Some people say that the man who used to own it, he was a murderer who killed his whole family. Some say that there's a bunch of monsters that live in there. but never really found one exact story that seemed to stand out as the truth amongst them.
Monsters? Perry is a monster hunter. Maybe I can go and check it out.
Well, I believe they have it locked up quite tight, but I don't really know much about the men there at all, so you're talking to the wrong person.
You know who would have the key to it? Because we met Mysterious Man earlier, and he said that mansion is basically his because old family gave him the mansion.
Well, I can't say I know anything about Mysterious Man, but if he was spoken about the manor, then I'd say he's got your answers better than I do.
Great. Maybe I'll just go converse with my friends because I kind of just saw them talking to each other and overheard it.
All right. You do what you like. We'll be here chopping up fish.
All right. Well, appreciate your time, and yeah, if we need any fish, we know where to find them. Just follow the smell.
Of course, follow the smell. The whole time you were talking, the others were just chopping away, dicing up the fish. And...
What do you think, Proud? Do you think they like maybe know something and just doesn't want to tell us? Because she was definitely like, "Oh, mansion is definitely creepier than the rest of the shady part of Blue Chance." Nobody ever says that without not knowing what's in there.
You're not wrong about that, but they're literally just fish choppers, and if they knew something, it didn't seem like she was willing to tell, or at least not much of a gossip.
Well, that's very unfortunate. That was not very eventful.
Uh, but Fox is probably done with. I mean, right? I mean, we should probably go see Ender and see if Fox met up with him.
Yeah, that's fine. Perry at least got one gold out of it, you know.
Exactly.
Pickpocketing Perry.
Quit what, Perry?
I'm pickpocketing Perry.
More like pot picketing, Perry. Wait.
It's okay, Proud.
All right. So you're making your way back towards the merchant district on your travels?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we're eventually going to go back to go see Ender
Okay.
at the library.
Get lost, Ender. All right. You make your way back into the merchant district, where Fox is still at the smithy, sort of directing him as you walk in. The two are kind of leaning over some designs that have been drawn up.
Hey, Fox, when are you planning to finish up? Also, what time are we meeting them?
Huh?
What time were you planning to finish up, and when are we planning to meet them? Because Ender was waiting for everyone at the library.
Oh. I guess time slipped by. This is sorry. Yes. Is it all right if we stop here, Xavier?
Xavier says, I suppose. I think I have a good start on it.
Great. I can see you tomorrow, and I can continue. I would feel bad if I just left you to the task by yourself. It doesn't seem fair.
Well, if you want to come by tomorrow and make sure I'm doing everything right, that would be fine. If you trust me, then you can do what you like tomorrow as well.
I'll do my best to come over just to see. I don't want to put everything on your shoulders.
All right.
Thank you for this. I appreciate all
Well,
that you're doing.
I always like to learn a bit more about weapons I've never seen before, so thank you as well, I suppose.
All right. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right, let's go back to the library. Ender's probably waiting for us. Don't want to keep him around too long.
All right. So you're heading back towards the residential district, to the library.
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to go back to Osvaldo's and see if that girl is still in there. I mean, I can see her, but like, I want to go and see if she's.
Yeah,
still
there are
in there.
windows you can kind of see. Yeah, the two of them seem like they're talking. Not like secretively; they're just sort of having a conversation. But if you're walking in, then they both kind of look up. Alida looks up, and Oswaldo sees her react and turns around and says, "Oh, hello. Back for more then."
Hello, Mr. Osvaldo. I couldn't help to notice, but you were talking to a pretty woman that Mr. Proud was checking out earlier.
You mean Alida?
Yes.
Yes, she's worked for me for quite some time now.
Side note, can I just check with Proud? Hey, Proud, did you tell us last time if like what she did? You told us, right?
I think so.
Okay, okay. Yes, Mr. Osvaldo, I was wondering, my friend, Mr. Proud, was telling us that his friend over there, hello pretty lady, she does relic hunting, and I was wondering if I, Periwinkle Spruce, can be of service to you, especially with my magical coin.
Well, you're right. Alida has worked for me for quite some time. She's a relic hunter, brings me trinkets from time to time on her travels. As far as help, I don't exactly need any tasks done. Like I said, if you have any sort of artifacts to bring me, then we can talk. But I'm not quite sure what it is you want to do.
Perry has a knack of kind of looking around and looking at things. I was just, wondering. Also, maybe maybe if there's like maybe said secret relics inside creepy mansion over there on with part of the chance.
Oh, you mean the old Cornell Manor?
Yes, that creepy mansion.
Well, I don't know if there's any relics in there. I can't imagine there'd be much. Most people give it a wide berth. If there was some sort of hidden treasure in there, I imagine that someone would have gone looking for it.
Okay, Perry will go take a look around for fancy relics then. Okay, thank you. Bye, pretty lady and Mr. Oswaldo.
Goodbye, says the woman. And Oswald says, come back again soon.
There's no dice. I was kind of hoping Mr. Oswaldo knew about, maybe a relics hidden inside mansion. But also, I wanted to talk to Pretty Lady to see if I can join her relic hunting club. But unfortunately, Perry cannot join the club.
You want to wait? You wanted to leave us?
No, Perry wanted side job. I'm so good at finding random things. Perry holds up her like 1 gold.
Why don't we start our own club for that?
The
Yeah,
Brass Hand Club.
Yeah, we can sell berries, hunt relics, make weapons.
The
Pray to
Brass
Brava.
Brand.
Yeah, pray to Brava and Seneschal.
Okay, I love that. I love that idea. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, gonna.
All right. So making your way to the residential district then.
Yes.
All right. Waiting for you is Ender, who's sitting on the steps in front of the library.
Hey, bud. Hope we didn't keep you waiting too long. Perry and I just found fish.
I
And
know
then we
it's
found a
okay. I
fox.
was able to read more in my book.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Fox. We got books. We went inside the temple. Me and Perry now smell like a lot like fish. Great time.
I walk over to Fox and pull out the magnifying glass and hand it to him. Here, just in case if you need that for your compensation for the uniforms later.
Great. Could I also have what I originally said I was going to use for compensation?
Sure. Here's a lantern.
Ah, thank you.
So, are we meeting them in their room again, or?
No, so I said that we could meet with them, but uh, now that I think about it, it wasn't great planning. I didn't give it a specific time. I kind of assumed today, but I could probably just wait a different day. I don't know.
I mean, we
Well,
could just go there now and see if we can give it to him.
yeah, we can see if the imp works.
To be honest, I kind of wanted to look at the imp too. Maybe we can go by tomorrow.
Do you want to
Okay.
tell them? Do you want to tell them tomorrow first, or just assume?
I kind of just wanted to go tomorrow.
I mean,
Okay.
it's right here, right? This is the
Yeah, that's the end.
okay.
If you guys want, we can go now and we can give the lantern. It's not a big deal. We'll get it back anyways.
Whatever you think is best. You're the one that talked to them, so
Yeah.
Great. We should just go back. I'm gonna keep it for now.
Okay.
All right. Back to the shady side of town then.
Yep.
It's around sunset now. As you make your way back to the shady side of Luchen's.
Hey guys,
Sorry, you're not there.
should we check out this building before we retire for the night? The bartender,
Sure. Yeah, we
did
can
they
go
say
there.
that building is supposed to be?
well, the bartender said it might have a job there, so maybe we can ask about it, see what it
It's
has.
it's for shady people, Betty.
Yeah, the Rachel said it was called Macabea's place.
Yeah. So let's see what Macabeo's place is all about. Got some time
Sure,
before.
let's go to Macadamia's place.
That's all right.
Close enough.
Do you
Let's
guys
see
like macadamia nuts?
Let's see if this place is open.
All right. One sec.
Jay's like, "Oh my god! All right, now I gotta get this pilot notes."
Get them notes out, Jay.
Yeah, just switching notes. That's exactly. You pinpointed the reason. I think you guys are used to me by now. Every time I say 1 sec, it's probably me double checking notes. Okay. Carved into the door, proud, is a symbol. That looks like
Sorry, I need to.
Oh yes, geometry.
that.
Okay.
And you recognize
oh.
that.
Barry knows what it is. It's a mountain with wings.
Perry, it's actually
It is actually the thieves' cant symbol for fence.
Sorry, for what?
Fence.
Fence. Fence.
Yeah, like a fence.
Ah, got it.
As in, well, I guess we don't know.
Well,
Huh.
proud.
Because-
It's used in the sense of not a literal gate or something like that.
Like, but selling off, like stolen goods.
Correct.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Ender doesn't know that, but
But
I know
proud
that.
is aware. Yeah.
Huh. Well, that tells us a little bit about what the place is. Huh.
That it's a mountain with winds, so people in there are explorers.
Not exactly, but if you think about it, it's more like if you want to get something back that used to be yours, you have to work hard to climb up a mountain, and then the item comes through on the wings into this place.
Oh, I see. So it is a mountain with winds on it.
Yep. Let's head on in, everyone.
Great, that sounds reassuring. Perry wants to come in now because at first Perry was like, Grumpy Man said it's for shady people, and Perry's not shady.
No, of course not.
All right. So the door is not locked. You can see kind of a light coming from below the door. So there's definitely somebody inside as you make your way into Montanino Markets.
Well, I wasn't expecting this.
I'm gonna need a zoom up. You need to give me the big picture real quick.
So as you enter, you can see the most obvious thing in the room is a large sort of cage built within the building that you enter, and sitting kind of behind it through a grate in the cage is his back turned to you, a small-looking person around the size of a halfling, who hears the door ring with a little bell as you enter, and then he hops off his chair, turns around, and comes to hop up on a different stool up in front of the grate so that he can sit kind of a little closer to eye level. And he is a unique looking person, the size of a halfling, but with the features of a dog. Sorry, that's not the most high-res picture. He has a small little mustache and goatee on his face, and is wearing a hat that is clearly oversized for him, with rather fine-looking clothing, with a big ruffle around his collar. And he walks up to you and says, "Yes, how can Montanino help you?"
Yes, Montanimo. We are new to Lucens and wanted to see what this place was all about.
Ah, well, you have come to Montanino Markets, owned by myself, Macabeo Montanino.
I
Are
see.
you in the market for something in particular, or browsing around?
I guess browsing around, not exactly sure what you had to sell. So, yeah, we've been to a couple shops in Lucens already, so we weren't sure how different your inventory is from other places.
Ah, well, once you come to Macabeo's little shop here, you're not going to want to go to the other ones. Macabeo can get you what you need for a price.
Okay, well, what do you got?
Well, that's not how Macabeo's shop works. You understand?
Oh, I see.
You
I-
put
I
in the
see.
request, and Macabeo gets it for you. But I suppose I have a few things on hand if you're just browsing.
Well, I guess then to help answer your question, do you need a specific item? Like, do I need to name the item, or rather a general idea of what I need, and you could look through a list of items that you have?
He flips and just starts to mutter something in like old Luchen's dialect to himself. And then halfway through that sentence, you hear him flip to Thieves' Cant.
I'm just
Um,
saying thieves. Yeah.
and for the first little bit, you don't understand what he was saying. And then as he's muttering to himself, just kind of ruffling around in his stuff. But then as he sort of walks past you, you hear him saying, "Thieves can't attest. Do you understand this?"
And then Proud's just gonna nod his head very slightly to not make a big movement.
He notices your nod, and then he returns back in front of you and says, "Ah, my friend in common, I think we can come to some sort of agreement then."
Yes, of course. No, we can come to agreement. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I understand the markets well, just to make your experience easier as well as mine. Do I need to name the item, or rather just give you a general description? Because I'm honestly not entirely sure what I may need just yet.
Well, if you put in a request, Maccabeo will see what he can do. But on hand, we have, and then he flips the thieves' can. Acid, caltrops, some costume clothes, poison, disguise kit, thieves' tools, and for a special request, Maccabeo can forge something for you. And then he flips back out of Thieves' Cant and says, "You understand?"
Another slight nod from Proud and respond. And do you buy items off of people that come into the markets?
Yes, Maccabeo, he buys whatever you want to sell to him. And the other shops, they are uptight and they are no fun. Maccabeo, he doesn't ask any questions about where you got it.
Well, that is and then Thieves Can, that is good news to our ears. And by the way, in Thieves Can, yeah, since we have an understanding, are there items in Luchen's that you're interested in purchasing? We're new, so we're not aware of anything that may be of high value that you may be seeking. But is there an item you're perhaps interested that we could procure for you?
Particular items? No, he's saying this in discount. Anything that you manage to find lying around, you understand? Maccabeo will buy off you for a price depending on what you bring him. And as far as particular things, anything you get from the manor, of course.
Smile kind of goes to Proud's lips and goes, and Thieves' Can says, "Well, I may be interested in the disguise kit, costumes, and the piece of paper. Depending on what is the price for those."
The piece of paper? What do you mean?
Or sorry, the forgery kit, basically.
Oh, it's not a forgery kit. He offered to forge something for you.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. Those services.
Ah, yes. Well, the costumes, 5 gold. The disguise kit, 25 gold. And then the forgery, that will depend on the job, but a flat 20 gold rate. If it's a little more complex or a little more risky, then Maccabeo may raise your price.
Proud nods. I understand. I don't have any purchases today, but we will purchase something from you soon, and we will be on the lookout for items that you may be interested in the near future, to valuable items to sell back to you.
Of course. Montanino markets are always open.
Are they? That is great news indeed. And then, in one more time, Thieves' Cant. And do you know if we were to break into the mansion across the way, who would we need to be on the lookout for?
Do you mean the old Cornell Manor?
Another slight nod from Proud.
Not many folk go near that place. It's been abandoned for quite some time. Though there was a thief who told me he was heading in there, but that was maybe around 20 years ago now. And he said, Macabeo, I can get you some high price items from this manor. Nobody goes in there. There has to be something, he says. And then I say, yes, of course, anything you want to sell. Macabeo may be buying. And then he never come back.
I understand. Well, we may be interested in trying. If you don't hear from us, you may know what have happened. But if you do,
Of
we'll be
course.
interested in doing business with you.
I see.
Appreciate your time. And then probably slightly tip his hat to him.
You have a nice day now. Come back and see Macabeo if you need anything.
In regular common. And you too. Thank you for your time.
Have a nice day, he says in common.
While they're having that conversation, I just kind of like elbow nudge Fox and I'm like, they're speaking pirate.
Do you think he could be on the seas? He looks like he can't see above the mast.
All right. Well, I think, yeah, I think we got some good information here. We should come back later to this place.
Alright, you head back out to the Shady Side streets, and the sun has set now and it's getting dark.
Oh. Ender, did you want to try the mansion tonight, or did you want to investigate the noise?
No, we should probably wait another day or two so we're not drawing too much suspicion.
All right. Let's go back to the rooms then.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, you make your way through the streets back towards the Wanton Whisper. And let's see. You head inside the loudly creaking door. To see the bartender behind the bar as always, and that same sort of group that you recognized from the other day, drinking at their usual spot. So if you guys don't have anything else that you want to accomplish this day, we can cut it off here because I know Ender said he wasn't feeling great. Because we've reached 3 hours now.
I'm done with all my tasks for today. Whatever those may be, Perry's tasks.
All I want to do was see what was in that other room.
Well, we can pick up next session right at the night because skipping through a long rest takes no time at all. So we can pick up again right at where we left off right here. That's no problem at all. But yeah, we can call it here because we've done 3 hours and I don't want to hold him here any longer if he's not feeling too great.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Ender, you can take off if you want. I'm gonna do my usual wrap up. You don't have to be here for that.
Okay. Thanks for the session.
Hope you feel better, man.
Alright. Talk to you guys later.
Take care.
See ya.
All right. That was a fun session. More planning, but got some things done.
Yeah. Put down some more inroads to what we want to do. It can all come together.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm letting this take as long as it needs to because I don't want to rush you guys in your preparation phase. So you guys take all the time you need to, and if you feel like we're done for the day, then you can turn in like you did here.
It is the phase we're most known for.
Yeah, you guys are known for your planning, so I'd hate to rush that. Especially because this is sort of a large thing that's been building up for quite some time. I don't want to rush your prep and then you realize that you've made a million mistakes or something like that. Plus, there's lots of stuff to explore in the chance, so I don't want to rush that either.
Yeah, like that mansion, like that Scream side quest.
We can knock both of those out. Well, maybe, I don't know. We might be able to get both of those next session, along with the close trades. Next session could be like the big one. A lot's gonna go on.
Yeah, I think you guys will get to some interesting things next session. Depends on how you guys play. What do you guys want to do? You can spend another session talking to Oswaldo if you want. I won't
Nope.
stop you.
Nope. As soon as Proud relays that someone disappeared after going to that mansion, 100% he's gonna want to go. He's too curious.
I want to go.
Understood.
Dude said monsters.
And maybe we end up dying there, but that'd be a great way to wipe. Just disappear in a mansion.
Oh my gosh. I would not want to die with shackles on.
No one said there'd be shackle. Oh, yeah, I guess we're still wearing those.
I mean, we can see what's in there.
They're
if
friendship
it's-
bracelets.
I mean, we can see what's in there. If it's too wild, back out. If we can grab something valuable in there, maybe we can get ourselves some coin for the markets and then buy out what we need.
What are you gonna do if Sildren or if Fox pulls a Sildren moment and stays to fight the boss or whatever the hell? You gonna leave me too, like Hilda?
I mean, I'll help you, but if you no, I'm not that kind of pirate. I mean, I'll help you, but if we TPK, then it's on you.
Maybe I'll get a cool battle scar.
Oh my god. Losing an eye is not a scar, it's just losing a part of you.
Yeah, but that looks pretty badass. Like, I would be terrified to see him out in the wild. Like, his art, that's menacing as hell. A wolf? Can you just imagine a wolf with one eye? Or the funny moments when he's a horse.
That's just a scar of abandonment by his party. I don't really know. Like, it might look badass, but the story behind it's kind of tragic if you think about it.
Okay, well, there we go. Then don't leave me like them. And then if I get a scar, great. Then we'll know that it was well earned.
Look, if we all run out, you better run out too.
I'll run after my eye is gouged out.
Oh my god. By that point, it might be a little too late.
I'm just saying, we haven't had a boss fight yet out of like all the groups. In fact, I think it's Hearth and Home that has had 2 boss fights. Right?
I think the Hag was the only one I would have counted as a boss fight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't always define them like exactly by boss fight versus not boss fight. But I would say if you're going to qualify them, Hearth and Home has had 2 boss fights with the Goblin Hag and then the Fat Hag. Sister Chlichak and Sister Gretchen were both considered bosses. But you guys had one that was a bit of a more unique looking boss, but it's definitely a boss.
What, the blind dude?
Yeah, if we fought the giant, that for sure would have been a boss encounter.
No, that was a boss encounter where the giant one was more of a stage hazard. But the other three things were the bosses.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a traditional boss encounter because there wasn't like one obviously in charge. But they were all kind of in tandem to present a hard encounter.
Yeah. No, those two ones, that screening one and then the big one, those were tough to take down on its own.
Nah, they're Tim change.
They almost killed you.
Yeah, I was gonna
Nah.
say, shut up. We almost TPK'd.
They didn't kill me.
You had like what, 3 health, 5 health left?
Yeah, after fighting 4 of them, not the 2 main guys. The 2 main guys barely touched me.
That's not true. I remember distinctly thinking, oh man, I have to kill the screaming guy right now because his turn's next, and if he hits Fox, Fox is down.
Nah, Fox ain't fragile like you.
Oh my god. I literally went down because I blew up something that should have taken my arm.
That's not how Fox remembers it.
Son of a bitch. Thanks for the DM session, Jay. That was a good one.
Thanks for playing. All right. I think most of my notes are good for next session. Turn and magnifying glass will be added to your inventories for next session.
Sorry, Fox. I tried to get a book on Ikamoto.
Yeah, I noticed that. That would have been pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
all right, though. I mean, if you have questions about it, Fox could tell you eventually, after I talk to Jay, because
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. I was basically just trying to see for myself where it was on a map.
To the west.
That's just a general direction. If we just keep going west one way, we might miss it.
West of where we are.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm just saying, I just solved your problem. Like, as far as directions go, you're 3/4 of the way solved.
If we keep going, the thing is though, we have to like understand exactly, because if we just keep going west, we're just gonna run into the classic crows before we find the islands.
Nah, man, just get on your boat, go west, look for a bunch of shit all around in the corner. You'll find it.
Or we find out Grand Lorien is flat and just fall off.
That'd be fun.
You fall off into the dark, deep reaches of space.
We fall off and go to a different plane of existence, like the water plane or something.
I mean, someday Proudpool wants to go to that plane.
I need to find out what that damn lantern does.
I'm pretty sure give light.
Nah, I'm really hoping it's something like basically I get my own familiar who just talks back to me the whole time, because then I can talk shit with the imp and use him to talk shit, and then that's double shit talking too proud. That's fantastic comedy right there.
Oh my god! Here's the thing. I'm really interested to see how it's gonna work roleplay wise. But a light that makes noise is double giving away position in any stealth mission.
Good. I'm glad you understand that aspect of it.
Yeah, no, I was thinking in my head, like, well, no wonder, like, it's super low price, like it's
Nah,
useless.
you think useless. I think great distraction.
Oh man.
10,000 IQ.
Oh my god. And what if the imp just gives your position away? You just
Yeah,
leave it
I
as a
just realized that
distraction.
it'd be really funny if he's like, "Yeah, this asshole went this way." He's doing this.
And you better hope those people like it.
No, they're probably gonna be pissed that I give it to them. They're like, "This
Yeah.
isn't worth it." But you know, that's gonna make it really funny.
Oh my god. Well, we got backup plans just in case. We definitely need the magnifying glass for the mission though when we break in. That's gonna be so useful.
Yeah, let's tell them that you're a pirate. Nothing will go wrong with that.
I mean, look, if anything, it incentivizes them not to say anything because they do.
Or
They're
it
just gonna
gives
miss
them
20
more of a
gold.
reason.
My bounty is not worth 400 gold. Look, I saw One Piece, all right? All of them were like 50 when they started.
I'm just saying, it's a horrible idea. I just at least I think I fixed that relationship. He could have been bluffing the fuck out of me.
No,
But
you did a pretty good job, I'll say that. I wasn't sure where you were going at first. I was getting really scared, and then you pulled it through.
yeah, I was about to be real aggressive, but then I realized that he wasn't aggressive.
We'll see. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
We shall see. Next time on Fresh Meat in Prison Streets.
In 2 days' time, who's the next session?
Wow, you knew exactly where I was going. So on Sunday will be the 6:30 p.m. Eastern Class of Crows session. They just finished up their Winter Winds Ball, so they'll be getting back into some other stuff after that, dealing with the aftermath of that, I suppose. Yeah, if you want to see what happened, you can go back and watch their most recent episode, which is still available as a VOD. If you want to watch them go to their ball. And another full session of Conga Line. We'll see. Yeah, so that'll be happening on Sunday. And then the Tuesday after that, we'll be back with Hearth and Home. They've got a journey that they're setting out on, too. They're heading into the mountains in the west of Averlin for the small town of Rockfall to do some investigating. So we'll see if their planning is up to snuff compared to you guys.
I'm waiting for the typical statement: Rockfall, everyone dies.
I mean, that was the joke with that place, but
Nah, they're good planners, I think.
We'll see.
Remember that time they like kicked open every door so it alerted every single bad guy in the house, and then they kept the two maybe most vulnerable characters.
Yeah, they did kick open every door in the lair of the enemy, just because they thought it would be cool, which was fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, you got two members of the party who actually like try to use their brain in creative and careful ways, and then there's the other two who just don't give a fuck and just want to do cool shit.
Chaos Gang.
I feel like it's a pretty good measure. Like Classic Crows is like a good balance between chaos and lawful, and we're a pretty lawful group, and Hearth and Home is very much chaos.
Lawful Harry is like chaotic mind. I just
True,
can't do stupid stuff because y'all are all like, maybe that's not a good idea, Patty.
I mean, look. If once we break the shackles, then we can have a lot more leeway for
Their
doing
friendship bracelets.
Yeah. Oh my god. You can keep your friendship bracelet on. Proud is getting rid of his as soon as it comes off, if it ever comes off.
I'm gonna fashion mine into a hair tie.
Yeah, the prisoner group is the most lawful.
We have to be. I don't want to end up back there.
You guys are, yeah. The other groups have just
Snow.
a little more freedom, but the other group, they have the looming don't get expelled pressure, so they're not quite allowed to be pure chaos either.
Yeah, because they care that they actually keep in mind that
Yeah, I'm not sure how much they they worry about getting expelled.
I'm
To be
pretty
honest.
sure Luno's the only one who's like, remember, we could get expelled.
I mean, let's be honest. They got up some pretty good credit and karma with the school for literally saving the teachers and not dying and causing a giant scandal at the university. Spoilers.
I don't know if that would be a massive scandal. That's happened before.
But I am looking forward to their next session. The conga line was a great ending to that one.
I wasn't expecting that, but it was entertaining.
It's a very interesting rhythm that Shinx decided to go with for Conga Line.
And she managed to coerce quite a few people into doing it too.
She got quite a few people. They got quite a few people to help out with the decorations too. Like it was really some like Disney Channel movie stuff at the end. It's like, come on, guys, let's all work together. And then it just happened.
Yeah, I was just letting her run through the entire cast of first years, and I'm like, I wonder who she'd be able to convince, and then just assigning different starting points for each of them to see how easy it'd be to convince each of them, depending on whether or not they hated her or not.
Yeah, Gilly got the decoration game going. Killian got the conga line. What's Croak gonna do to rally the students?
He better have a conversation with Hina.
We shall see.
All right, Fox. You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna break free from this and just run away, and then see if the Hearth and Home group is gonna have a bounty set out for us, and that way they can try to collect the reward.
I don't know if they'd be the ones to take you in. I think they would probably be more likely to end up in prison themselves.
If anything, we'd end up being the ones that would put them in prison
Yeah,
or try
probably.
to.
That seems a little more accurate.
I mean, look, they just can't mess with Brava or Seneschal, and they're probably good.
Yeah, but then you got Fox, where like anything can set him off. And you got Perry, who's Perry.
Look, just don't talk shit about Owls or Ikamura, and you're good.
Nah, man, you mean don't talk shit. All right, Jay. So when are you gonna open up 4 slots for the Rangers Club?
Oh my
'Cause
god,
we're coming for you.
Are you looking to join the Rangers?
What? Perry's already a
Yeah,
ranger.
we're gonna set up an outpost in Ikamura.
I mean, I think that's a little far away. Though the Rangers within Grand Lorien don't really have any like limits on who can join. They don't like put limits on like only 10 people allowed per barracks or anything like that. So they just kind of recruit from time to time. So it's always an option, I guess. So they might do a little background check.
Let's see. Former prisoner at Passat. It was a mistake, I promise.
No, I'm sure it'll go great. No, I'm telling you, the noble was an asshole. It was his fault. Get right. Hmm.
Let's see. Former prisoner of Passat and former pirate. Well, yeah, but it wasn't like one of the successful crews, so you know.
Yeah, I was bad at being a pirate. Does that help my chances?
Perry would be like, "What? That was like prison? I thought that was like, vacation resort. Friendship bracelet.
It was a club.
It was friendship bracelet."
It's like country club but for poor people.
Yeah, if you think about it, like the fight pit was a rec center. We had a wonderful beach,
You had
We-
activities like fishing.
like
The pool was
drinking.
unfortunately run down, so it was just sewers.
Romance was blossoming. I mean, we helped set a couple up. We returned a chicken. We broke a halfling's confidence.
Well, one of us did.
Yeah. Hey, just don't do that with Flimp if we ever run into Hearth and Home, because he for sure could probably zap us.
Nah, I think if Fox met Flimp, I need to see more of how Sojourn is character wise, but like it'd probably go pretty well.
All right. I had somebody follow during the stream, but
Nice.
I don't know who it was. If they're still here, thank you. I missed it when it happened, but I think I typed something out a little later. Getting close, getting close.
8 more, right?
Yep.
Just tell me when. I will fire off that sub button so fast.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for playing, you guys. We'll be back soon. Very soon with Classic Crows, and a week from now with this same group to see how these stories continue. Should be very entertaining. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. I've done my little spiel already. If you're wondering what the hell half the stuff we were talking about was, the places or the gods or something like that, I guess you can look at the World Anvil if you haven't already, because a lot of that stuff is all there. And should have some background information on some things. But other than that, take care and have a good night. Chat.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you for playing, guys.
Thanks, Jay.